welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Colton Ogburn, and Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is alive, and she'll be making her triumphant return in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars as the savior of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Deadpool and Wolverine proves it.
And the return of the Scarlet Witch is connected to Loki Season 2, the Multiverse of Madness, the X-Men, and Young Avengers, and Robert Downey Jr.'s return as Dr. Doom.
That's right, boss man. So, in Multiverse of Madness, we saw Wanda abandon her character growth from WandaVision and go the path of the villain. But come the end of Multiverse of Madness, she once again sees the error of her ways and sacrifices everything to save the world from herself.
I opened the Darkhold. I have to close it.
So let's give a little recap to what exactly happened in Chthon's tower on Mount Wundagore.
Whose tower on Mount what now?
Chthon's tower on Mount Wundagore. So Chthon is this ancient demon and the author of the Darkhold, which he carved into the walls of this tower, and he also prophesied about the Scarlet Witch.
Remind me about the Darkhold.
The Darkhold is the Book of the Damned, and it corrupts everything and everyone it touches, which honestly is the best canon explanation for why Wanda went bad again after WandaVision and had to learn the same lesson all over again in Multiverse of Madness. So Wanda becomes obsessed with finding her children somewhere in the multiverse after losing them in WandaVision, and through the corruption of the Darkhold, she began dream walking throughout the multiverse to find them.
Everything I lost can be mine again.
Dreamwalking being when you transfer your consciousness into the body of another version of yourself in another universe. But Wanda wanted to harness the power of America Chavez so that she could physically transport herself to the universe where her children existed. Remember that America's superpower is the ability to create these star-shaped portals and travel between universes. So when Wanda realizes that she's in the wrong and that she has been corrupted by the Darkhold, she uses her power to collapse the Tower of Chthon, and making it to where the text of the Darkhold can never be copied again.
No one will ever be tempted by the Darkhold again.
Now, as the tower collapses, we see this little burst of red energy, hinting that perhaps Wanda survived. And, you know, it's perfectly conceivable that as the tower collapsed, Wanda used her power to create a force field around herself and survive the collapse, and then did the classic Darth Vader walk away that we saw in Star Wars Rebels when the Sith Temple collapsed with him inside. But what if instead of the Vader route, Wanda went the Ahsoka route?
What do you mean?
Well, in Star Wars Rebels, when that temple collapsed on Vader and Ahsoka, we saw Vader physically walk away from the rubble. Ahsoka, however, was pulled through a portal into a completely different realm, avoiding the collapse entirely. So what if Wanda did something similar, using her reality manipulation powers as well as the power she absorbed from America Chavez to transport herself out of the 616 universe entirely? Our theory is that Wanda is so ashamed with herself and so afraid of her own power that she would banish herself from not only her home universe, but from the multiverse entirely. That's right, we think Wanda banished herself to the void at the end of time, the same place we saw in Loki seasons 1 and 2, as well as in Deadpool and Wolverine. And there's actually evidence of Wanda's presence in Deadpool and Wolverine in the Void.
And you know, Colton, Deadpool and Wolverine introduced one key addition to the MCU that everybody's overlooking. Look how easy multiversal travel is now.
What do you mean?
Well, in Multiverse of Madness, you can only travel through the multiverse if you dreamwalked. That's why America Chavez's power to roam the multiverse was such a big deal. But Cassandra Nova used a sling ring to get from the Void to another universe. So, in theory, traveling from the Void to another universe is as easy as, say, me traveling from the store all the way to Northern Ireland, like this.
Wait, you're really in Northern Ireland? That's not like a green screen?
Yeah, dude, I'm really here. Look, I have like dirt and rocks from the beach and everything.
How'd you do that?
I don't really know how I got here. I don't know how we really do anything in the store. It's a very confusing time for me.
But Ryan, you're in another country and using your phone. That must be really expensive.
Wait, Colton, I hear you, but I didn't have to worry about my data because I got an eSIM plan before I left from Saley. They're the sponsor of this video. Saley is so easy to use. You download it from the App Store and activate it before you even arrive at your destination. Now that I'm here, I have data, I can make calls, use the internet, FaceTime, and I can talk to you guys. Guys, I used to travel abroad and pay these exorbitant data fees, or I'd hunt around for Wi-Fi, but with a Saley eSIM, I didn't have to wait in line at the airport for a SIM card or mess around with swapping out the cards in my phone.
Wow, how do I get that?
Well, you can never use it because you're trapped in our TV, but right now, the first 5,000 people who aren't you to use our code ScreenCrush get a 1 GB Saley plan for free with our link below. Saley is super easy and all plans are compatible with iOS and Android devices. And they offer 24/7 support and a full refund if the plan isn't right for you. Remember, the first 5,000 people to use our code ScreenCrush get a 1 GB Saley plan for free with our link below. Anyways, using Saley is just as easy as traveling across the multiverse in the MCU these days.
Right again, and you make a good point about America Chavez and her powers. Her powers being multiversal travel, and how in Multiverse of Madness, a simple sling ring could not be used to travel the multiverse. But if you look closely in Deadpool and Wolverine, that sling ring actually seemed to have been modified with Infinity Stones, specifically with the Reality Stone and the Time Stone. I think this modified sling ring, having the power of time and reality bending via the Infinity Stones, could be responsible for Cassandra Nova being able to use it to open a portal from the Void to Deadpool's universe. We've seen that a temp pad can be used to leave the Void, so I would assume that a sling ring with these specific Infinity Stones on it could do the same. And that lends credence to our theory on Wanda being able to transport herself into the Void, being that while her powers were unlocked by the Mind Stone, her powers are actually more in line with the Reality Stone and even share the same red color. And we think it's possible that this could be why we're seeing this stone relief of the Scarlet Witch from Chthon's Tower in the Void in Deadpool and Wolverine. Sure, it could be from another universe, but what if this is the same relief from Universe 616, the same relief from Multiverse of Madness?
But didn't that statue like break into pieces when the tower fell?
Well, yeah, but it's nothing that Wanda couldn't fix, and that could explain why it's still intact in this bunker in the Void that we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. The bunker that Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and X-23 were holding up in. And in fact, if you look here at the exterior shot of that bunker, it looks like it could be the bottom piece of the Tower of Chthon itself.
Well, then where's Wanda? Why isn't she helping them fight Cassandra?
Well, like I said earlier, buddy, Wanda will be in a situation where she feels like she is dangerous and needs to stay as far away from other people as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if this team of Void survivors of Marvel's past tried to recruit Wanda in their fight against Cassandra, but she probably said that they're better off not knowing her and having nothing to do with her. And then I would assume she journeyed into the Void to find her solitude and allowed Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and X-23 to stay in the tower. But I think Wanda will be pulled back into the fight come Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. In Avengers Doomsday, I think we'll see not only the 616 universe, but the entire multiverse collapse. I mean, they're totally hinting at that being the outcome with a title like Doomsday. And where do you go when your universe dies? Well, most people are simply erased from existence, but some people and artifacts from a dead universe are dropped into the Void. And I think that's exactly where Doctor Doom and the Avengers will find themselves at the end of Doomsday. In the Void. I've talked before how I believe the Void will take the place of Battleworld in Avengers Secret Wars. Remember, in the Secret Wars comics, our heroes and villains are transported to a place called Battleworld, which is a planet that is essentially a culmination of different worlds smashed together into one. Well, what is the Void if not a culmination of various worlds? And it's exactly where our heroes would find themselves in the event that the universe dies.
That makes sense.
I think in the Void, the Avengers of Universe 616 will find their Wanda Maximoff, and she will be their guide in this new terrain. At first, she'll be a bit of a recluse, but when she sees that these are her Avengers from her universe, she'll feel obligated to step in and help. And when she realizes that the entire multiverse is at stake, meaning that her children's lives are at stake in every universe, she'll join the Avengers in their fight against Doctor Doom in Avengers Secret Wars. And Kevin Feige himself said that Wanda was the most powerful character in all of the MCU. She damn near defeated Thanos on her own in Endgame.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
You will.
So she will be a very valuable asset in the Avengers fight against Doctor Doom. And we also think that Wanda will take young Franklin Richards' place as the reformer of the multiverse. In the comics, Franklin Richards, the son of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman, uses his reality manipulation powers to create new realities and rebuild the multiverse after the events of Secret Wars. And we even see him combine the 616 and Ultimate universes into one. Come the end of Avengers Secret Wars, I think it will be Wanda who uses her reality manipulation powers to reconstruct the multiverse, redeeming herself from her villainous actions and cementing herself as the literal savior of the MCU.
I am Marvel Jesus.
And just like we saw Loki reconstruct the multiverse in season 2 of his series, perhaps we'll get to see something similar to that scene again, only this time he'll have the help of Wanda and maybe even RDJ's Doctor Doom. And together they'll be able to construct a stronger, more stable, free-flowing multiverse. We've actually got a great Avengers Doomsday plot video coming out this week explaining what we think is going to happen in that movie and how it will lead into Avengers Secret Wars. And in that video, I'll expand more on just how Wanda, Doom, and Loki can work together to essentially reboot the MCU. So anyway, I think that WandaVision, featuring Wanda's creation of her own world within her hex, was a direct setup for Kevin Feige's ultimate plan of having the Scarlet Witch return and help recreate reality as we know it. And I hope that we'll see her rejoin this newly formed Marvel Universe, and perhaps even join a newly formed MCU X-Men team like in the comics. I mean, she is a mutant after all. And this will open the door for so many more awesome stories with Elizabeth Olsen in the role of the Scarlet Witch. Of course, you have those potential X-Men stories, but there's also Young Avengers, which could lead into a story inspired by the comic Children's Crusade. In that comic, Wiccan, Wanda's son, who is a member of the Young Avengers, is having issues with his reality-bending powers, which are getting out of control. The Young Avengers then band together to find the Scarlet Witch and seek her help following the events of House of M, where she too let her powers consume her and participated in a little bit of mutant genocide. On their journey to find her, they encounter none other than Doctor Doom, who has been trying to harness Wanda's reality manipulation powers for himself. So it would make perfect sense if in the movies we see Doctor Doom also seeking out Wanda to gain her powers and use them to reconstruct the multiverse to his liking. Perhaps he even tempts her with the promise that he could create a universe where she can be with her sons. So guys, let me know, do you think Wanda Maximoff is in the void? And do you think we'll see her return for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars? Let me know down in the comments below, or you can at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, be sure to subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Colton Ogburn.